everybody. Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. Those are the nice ringing tones of the brand new 65 amps London Pro, just unveiled last night. October 1st, was that last night?
Correct.
People watching this video later. Late October 2010, the latest amp from 65 amps. Dan Bull is here with me. How are you doing, Dan?
Great to see you guys. Thanks
Great
for
to
coming
see
out
you.
again.
Yeah.
We enjoyed you guys at the party last night.
Well, it was a heck of a party, but before we go any further, we have a tradition. Every time we do a video with new gear from 65 amps, you always tell a musician joke or something.
Right, it's a music business thing, so usually I tell kind of long, involved jokes that have layers, but I heard one of my old favorites. It's kind of like a horse walks into a bar kind of joke. But so what did it say on the blues musician's gravestone? I didn't wake up this morning.
Nice. All right, man. So the 65 amps London Pro, we know about the London.
Right.
It's like, where does it stand in relation to it? What's different? What should we know?
Absolutely. Well, basically, there's a few things people were asking us for, and there's a few things we wanted to do. So it lined up pretty well. So the London's our first amp. It's been out for 6 years. And if you remember the old London, it had a 12AX7 channel and an EF86 channel. They were discrete. They didn't cross paths at all. And they were both single gain stages, so they're not a high gain thing. It makes them very pedal friendly and a lot of vocabulary, but it's limited. So what we've done with the Pro is that you can switch between right now this blue, on the blue light, you'll see that we're on the EF86 channel. You can switch over to the 12AX7 channel. That's just sort of the, nice thing. But then what we did different was you can combine these two channels. You'll see both of them come on. And when you do this, the volume and tone knobs for each respective channel become the gain knob and the tone knob for those respective tubes. So you can gas up the 12X7 and cool off the EF86, vice versa, anywhere in between. So you got a lot of voices. So we start with what I was just doing mostly. So you hear all that chime and high harmonic content of the EF86. I go over to the 12X7, you get more of the straight ahead. Then you kick them together. So you get all that grunt out of the 12X7, but you get that high sparkly stuff out of the EF86.
And I tell you, you guys watching this on YouTube, a lot of the compression with, internet video, you won't quite hear the lows that I'm hearing here in this room. But man, this thing has balls, dude.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's that was sort of the goal. We wanted to, all of our thing is we make little amps that are usable by pros, and that's why we're calling this the Working Pro versus, the Blue Label stuff. People are now calling the Touring Pro. But there's a lot of aesthetics and there's a lot of things on the Blue Label amps that cost a lot of money. So we wanted to make it a little more affordable. It's not cheap, it's not an economy amp or anything like that, but it's affordable for working guys. So you notice we don't have our vents on the cabinet. That saves me a ton of labor and also the cost of all the metal for the vents. And in the cabinet, we're using G12H30s only, and we're not mixing the Alnico in there. We do it for an upcharge. The Alnico Blue retails for $479. So that really saves some cash. Little things, like the tan part of the cabinet now is not a recessed insert. It's just, they just cut some piping into it and a different kind of Tolex. But it's still void-free, furniture-grade Baltic birch, all the same thing we do. Everything's still made by the same people, same method, everything. So it's all of our experience and engineering is still in it. And none of it's sent offshore or anything like that. And transformers are still like M6 grain-oriented, hand-wound transformers. It's the real thing. But it saves a lot of money at wholesale, and you multiply that for retail costs. So what happens, this head is going to retail for $1,850, whereas the regular London head's $2,700. So, and then our normal 212 cabinet with the mixed speakers in it is almost $1,000. With all the stuff that's in it. With the two G12Hs like that, this cabinet's going to be right around $600. And it's still same quality, still same everything. So it gets down into sort of working guy, musician level, but it's still robust. And then this also, the original London had the tremolo circuit and the cut knob on it. Those are gone. That helps us save some money. But we've added the master voltage on this that's on a lot of our other smaller amps. So you can, set your breakup points where you want it, and then drop that output of the amp down to where your lead singer quits giving you the stink eye.
Now explain this to me. It's not quite scaling, correct?
No, it's a little different. What we're doing is proportionally dropping all the elements of the tube. So I'm not just starving the tubes of voltage and keeping the filaments up, which is great. It has a nice sound. But what we're doing is keeping the relationship between, the plate and the screen and the cathode exactly the same. So it's going down proportionally. So we don't just arbitrarily knock 20 volts off or 50 volts off of every element. We make it so that the screen is still X percentage of the plate and the cathode is still X percentage of the screen. So the tube behaves all the way down. So if I take this down, now we've got about an 8 or 9 watt amp. I still have all my 3 voices. And still hear all that chime of the EF86, right? But most importantly, my guitar feels exactly the same because those tubes are still doing their job. They just become less efficient.
Could we switch for a second? I'd love to hear this with single coils.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like a Telecaster. Like what we really go for with all of our amps is we assume a lot of our customers have nice guitars. So you want that to be reflected. You want the amp to do what you're asking it to do. So I haven't changed any setting on the amp. We're just back where we were. And I still have go back to 12x7, a little more straight up. There you go, Telecaster.
Very cool, man.
And let's see. Yeah, back to nice, good, clean. Should I do my Peter Stroud impression for you again? All right. Peter loves it when I do this.
Where is he, by the way? He's like in Australia right now?
Yeah, Peter's out with Sarah right now in Australia. They're doing a 11-day tour, I think, over there. So he wanted to be the last night for the party and here, and work gets in the way, right? But so here's the secret Peter Stroud tuning for the song that everyone tries to play and it never sounds right. It's a modified open G. You drop the D and the E string down, but leave your low E where it should be, and you've got.
That makes so much sense now with the open strings. Nothing quite sounds the same.
That's why it always sounds like because he and Cheryl both go into that tuning, and it sounds like 4 guitars playing. When they stand up, it's like, that's big. How does he do that? That's just a little open G. Southern boys like to play an open G,
Well, Dan, thanks so much for taking us for a ride on the new London Pro. It sounds like a great amp, man.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, man. All right, you want to play a little more? Take us out. I'm Joe Coffey. You're watching PremierGuitar.com.